My name is Olga Kempura, and I'm here with Alex Doll. And we both of us are in the Maryland yoga teacher community here in the Facebook group. And really, the desire is to get to know each other and create a community where there can be a little bit more collaboration, that we can actually learn about who we are as yoga teachers, what we are currently creating, in our studios or in our business or in just our practice. And so my honor is today to have Alex, with us. And if you guys have been watching, Alex is active. She's been doing lots of stuff. If you look for her name, you will see how many epic different things she has been creating. And so, Alex, I'm just so, grateful, for you to just spend, a few minutes. We can go for 10, 15 minutes together. And I would like you to introduce yourself, to this Maryland yoga teacher community. I would like you to tell us a little bit about your journey. What did take you all the way just, to become a yoga teacher? And what, is just, yeah, like what you are just kind of lit up when, people start talking about yoga. And then also, what is your desire? What you are creating just, at this point, in your life. So is it too many questions?
No, that's great. I think I can hit it all.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Olga. I'm so excited to be here with you. And I love Maryland, the Maryland Yoga Teacher Facebook page, because I love resources. Um, so I was a dancer my whole life, so movement was always valuable for me. I spent Oh my gosh, I feel like every evening after school, going to the dance studio. And it was more than just showing up to move my body. I really loved seeing people at the studio. And it was just a really great source of connection. And I realized how important that was, just in general in my life. And then I went to college and I stopped dancing, but I was in a community service fraternity. So again, there's this like overarching connection. And I really loved giving back to the community. Fast forward to now. So that was 20 years ago. And now I live in Middle River, which is East Baltimore County. And I run Middle River Yoga Studio, which kind of just landed in my lap. And I feel very purposeful in this role. And this all started because I was hosting yoga classes in my yard. And my community kept asking how they could get more of it in the winter time. And I thought about it and I reached out to, I kid you not, 100 local places, churches and galleries. And like I went to there's like a police hall in Middle River, and I touched base with so many people. And then I was in a photography studio for a year, one day a week. It started with the Wednesday night wind down class, and I had a couple people coming, and it was great. And then a friend of mine opened a spa just right down the street from where I was hosting these classes at the photography studio. And she said, Alex, I really dream of having a yoga studio in the basement of the spa. Do you want to host this? Do you want to take this on? And I was like, okay, I guess I should say yes. And I said yes. And now we have several classes a day. And it's just been this very organic growth. And I have zero business plan. I just say yes to a lot of things. Um, and I've learned so much along the way. And I'm also a massage therapist. So I have Middle River Yoga Studio, which is one business. Then I have a massage business, and they really feed each other a lot. And really, the essence of the yoga studio is to give something to the community and to be like a communal hub. So, more than just coming to a yoga class. I actually just got a message from a student who shared with me how valuable coming to Middle River Yoga has been for her mental health. And she tracks things with like her Aura ring or a watch. And she showed me how much fat she's lost and how much muscle she's gained. And she was like, that's not what this is about. It's so much more than the numbers. But I just wanted to show you this tangible example of the impact that Middle River Yoga has had on my life. And most of the students here are brand new to yoga. So a lot of our offerings are accessible and are available for all people to come and try out. One of the things that draws a lot of people in is a 30-day for $30 deal. And the idea is that they get hooked. They just see, wow, this is so valuable. And I could see myself coming here a couple times a week as like my respite and to just take care of myself. And something I think a lot about and that I teach a lot about is that we live in a very demanding world. And then you come to yoga, and I'm offering ways that you could move your body, but it's ultimately your decision and it's your choice. And for some people, that can feel really overwhelming. So they just want to pay attention and they want to do exactly what I'm saying and cueing. And then other people are like, that's not feeling so good in my body today. So then there's an option to take an alternative, and just giving people some fluidity within the structure, right? So class is 6 to 7. They know they're going to be here, they're going to drop in within that hour, that structured time. There's some fluidity for them to do what's going to be best for them. Sometimes that looks like just laying down for a whole hour. And oh my gosh, what a gift that is for so many people. And yeah, just giving folks I think like the agency and the time to just slow down and to take good care, because if we aren't doing that, we can't give back in any way, right? To our families, to our jobs, to our community. And so really it just starts, yoga is all encompassing. And self-care is never a selfish act. It actually has massive impact. And I think that's really where I come from in my teaching.
That's so beautiful. I really, want to, acknowledge you, Alex, for who you are really being, how, what I'm hearing, because I'm hearing it for the first time, right? And as I'm listening to you, I see, really someone who has been following the promptings, of your heart and of your soul, and um, what a beautiful journey. We each of us are coming from a different angle, into yoga. And so I can, picture coming from a dancing world, you know, I can see you as a yoga teacher. I know a yoga teacher who are dancers, and that is just something I really love. People who have, dance in the background. There is just such a, sense of lightness, in the way they carry, their bodies. And so that is just so cool for me to just kind of, to see someone who, was originally tuned into, really on the beauty of the body movement, right? And yoga is that yoga somatically just kind of, really, you know, yoga asanas, they tapped into the inner beauty that is just, within us, right? And I feel like that's just kind of, what I'm hearing, that it was like a thread and a call for you, like there is more that I can offer, sharing just kind of, what the body is, capable, and how I can tend to my body in a way that it's nurturing, and I can help others to feel that. And when I'm hearing your journey, just the way you have started, it's so beautiful. I think it's such a great story of your life that you can tell, your grandkids. This is how my great grandma started. She was just on the lawn, she was just outside, she was in a coffee job, and she was just, in a, like photography studio. And then she became this just kind of, really epic, yoga teacher, and just kind of mentor to so many, and has impacted, her community. Because, I can see you that you are, like at the entrance of the journey, into the yoga business and, yoga world, as just kind of, someone who is leading, your pack, your community. And one image that I just, had about you, Alex, was, or two words, open house. It's just like, when I, have heard you just kind of, really sharing your journey, it was like, this lady, she just opened up her door, to her garden, and let kind of, people really come to smell the roses, to taste just kind of, the beautiful orchard trees and things that you just kind of have to offer, to sit on a bench, figuratively speaking, if they need to have just kind of a practice that it's more kind of on a restorative way. Like you said, that sometimes, we don't do too much in a class, it's more about just kind of, really tuning down inward, relaxing, restoring ourselves. So that is, so beautiful. One of the things that really stood out to me from you is giving people the agency, to really be able to just kind of to tap into themselves. And I think this is so important because we really forget about that it is truly not the circumstances around us, or in our life that really guide, the way who we are being. It's really just kind of, who we choose to be, having a certain challenges, if it's just health challenges, or if it's just, relationship challenges, or if it's financial challenges, whatever that is, that it's presenting, into the life, that I'm kind of, hearing, here I'm offering a space when you can really come to the depth of the beauty who you really are when you come into my space, so that you remember back just kind of the greatness that is in you, and you can choose from that place, to use the language, the way you talk to yourself, or even about your challenge, in a way that it's more nurturing and building to you. That's what just kind of, I'm hearing. I wanted to ask you, just for the other yoga teachers who might be just kind of listening, where do you think you just kind of, you would like to have more support? Where do you feel like this would be so great if I could, dot,
Yeah, I want to say that this space is very much like a come as you are space, and I'm in it right now, and I'll just show you a quick little
Oh,
review.
beautiful.
It's a
This is so
basement.
cool.
It's a
Yes.
basement, and so you feel very held in the ground. It's a very grounding sort of space. So that's just, it's very sweet.
And it does have a natural light. I see that you have a window on
I
your.
have a big door that I keep open,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
nice outside, and it just floods the whole space with light.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um, Another thing just in general about how I teach and what I think is really valuable and important. So there's this like come as you are essence. And at the end of every single class that I teach personally, and then I have 6 or 7 other yoga teachers that are here as well, but I always give people a moment to tap into gratitude. And I'm of a firm belief that the highest path of yoga is simply being grateful for what is here right now, and just like being in in the world that we're in, and paying gratitude for the space that we're in, and having a roof over our heads, and the sunshine outside, and the community of people that we're with. And so just, I think having the moment at the end of class for everybody to just reflect on gratitude is vital in my life. And I really love sharing that within my yoga practice and my teaching. Okay, what would I ask for?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I have been so grateful to be on this journey, because as I dream up something, some solid ground lands and is like, oh, you had a dream? Here's your landing place. And so I think the thing that I could use help with or support on is marketing. I don't love it. I like the sort of organic flow of things. And it ebbs and flows. The business ebbs and flows a lot. And I try to not get nervous if it's at an ebb, and not get too excited when it's at its flow, and just be present for all that is. But there are some times that I put on workshops, and then nobody comes to the workshop, or nobody signs up for the workshop. And,
Mhm.
it's easy to get really excited and to put all of this energy into the creation of the thing. And then putting it out there into the world beyond my yoga studio just feels a little nerve-wracking sometimes, for whatever reason. Maybe it's feeling seen or getting vulnerable about sharing something that feels near and dear to my heart. But I think it's like the helping of sharing resources, sharing teachers, right? Like, we are growing in this really beautiful organic pace, and I could always use more teachers, more people that are my high requirement for being a yoga teacher with us here is that you're in your own practice also. It's also
Mhm.
easy as a yoga teacher to drop your own practice because you're teaching so much, but then you're no longer sharing your practice. You're just doing sort of moving through the movements. And sometimes the practice that you're in is deeply meditative or focused on more pranayama techniques or more of the sort of esoteric yogic practices and less about like moving through a vinyasa flow every day, right? And but just having the encouragement for all my teachers to be in their own practice and to stay curious. So yeah, I would say sharing marketing sort of tips and techniques and resources. And then just bringing more people in, whether that's more students, more folks doing workshops, more teachers. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I would ask you just, if some teachers might be just, interested, in certain resources, like, I know that before we went just kind of, on the recording here, I just told you, like I'm, hosting an event and I'm just thinking it would be so wonderful to have somebody who does sound bath.
Yeah.
Do yoga teacher training, I am not so good in anatomy, or what I mean is, or just, what do you think, where do you think you shine that, you feel just, hey people, if you would are looking for this and that, I would love to just kind of have a conversation with you. Do you think you can
Oh,
do you
yeah.
think
I love this question. Something I'm really passionate about right now and trying to figure out how to incorporate it more is I love to teach other yoga teachers how to be confident or encourage or guide or support other yoga teachers to be confident because it's not just coming in here and teaching a sun salutation. You have to be kind of in charge of the space. You have to know how to facilitate a group of people. At the beginning of class, everybody in here loves to talk. They love to chit chat. They love to be together and socialize. And like sometimes the hardest part of my job in this hour yoga class is to bring everybody's energy back together and inward because it's more than just a yoga space, right? It's also a community hub, is what my vision is for everything that's going on here. And so I have to be very like grounded and loud and clear in my way of communicating. If you're not confident in that, the students feel it, right?
Mhm.
And there's just something to be said about a clear, confident, communicative yoga experience that isn't timid or shy or held back.
Mhm.
And so I love to just help people to see
Mhm.
how to bolster up their own sense of confidence. I'm also pretty skilled in anatomy, being a massage therapist as well, and just the
Right,
biomechanics of the
right,
body. So
right,
I would
right.
say yoga anatomy and breaking down movement, and then also just supporting teachers in helping them to see what lights them up so that they can be a better yoga teacher.
Yeah, I think it would be just, I can see just kind of, like if there is any, teacher who might struggle in, that department. And it's not always only just kind of those who are just kind of freshly certified, but sometimes I see that yoga teachers struggle with that, even further away. For me, I would kind of think it would be so awesome if I could just kind of, ask Alex, to see me, what I'm doing, and just kind of, really, give me just kind of, the feedback, right? Because that is just kind of beautiful, because I kind of would assume that something similar you do with, your, teachers, or there could be different ways to do it, but just, like, it would be so epic to just, I can imagine it when I was just kind of, really early in my days. I don't know what I would give for somebody who is just kind of, like, there. And it doesn't have to be that you are sitting in a corner, you are just basically participating, right? Maybe whatever you choose, and then getting the feedback. Hey, just kind of when you held the space, maybe you just pause. You just kind of, when you start a class and you see everybody's talking, just sit there quietly, smile. And people look at you because I know how it is,
Yeah.
it just happened to me actually just kind of the other day, there was so much of, buzz, and I just sit on my yoga mat. And
I
then,
usually ring
and
a
then suddenly it
chime.
started just kind of, like writing, and so anyway, but I just kind of think that is just such a valuable, just kind of, skill that so many yoga teachers would just so appreciate, So,
Yeah.
and so of course you could choose in any way, just kind of how you would like to go about it, but just to everyone else who is just watching this. You can see here somebody who has just a background in dance, who has a great just skill in anatomy, as a massage therapist and as a yoga teacher, someone who is passionate about, knows about the alignment, knows what needs to happen in the poses because of the background that you have, right? And most likely some training as well. But it's just kind of, then also having something that comes, not so easily and naturally to everyone, and that is just kind of being a leader while you are facilitating the class, right? Being the one who is in charge, that it's felt what it's like that to build that confidence, and seeing things that just kind of little tiny things that can just kind of help to strengthen that muscle.
Totally. I love to give feedback. I think it's so valuable because in so many ways, we're pretty isolated being yoga teachers. We're teaching to a group of people. They're not going to come tell us, you said, lots of times in that class, or I
Yeah,
didn't feel like you left enough space for the processing of the practice, right? And when we
right.
get nervous, it's really easy to just and chitter chatter
Rush,
the whole
rush, right.
class, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
it's really valuable to have a mentor
right.
guide you and say, hey, that was a really great class. I enjoyed X, Y, and Z. Here's where I can sense that there's room for growth. It's not about criticizing
Right,
the class, it's about
right,
helping the yoga teacher to see
right.
here's room for growth.
Yeah, I can see the theme, just kind of, it could be just kind of, a beautiful webinar or whatever, just, slow down in order to build on the confidence, because it's
Yeah.
very true that whenever I go and there is new yoga teacher, they go so fast through the poses, through the talking, they talk too much, and don't give just kind of a people, space to digest. I mean, that's one of the things. So, anything else that you want to just kind of, at the end, just kind of, of our course, something that just kind of, really is inside of you, and you really would like to just kind of, finish with something that is just kind of, you are so passionate about and you want to share with us.
Oh, I'm just so grateful to be here in this connection with you, Olga, and the connection through just like the sphere of the Facebook page. And I really would love, I did this maybe 2 years ago. I don't remember what I called it, but I had some cute little name and I brought people over to my house and I had like cheese and crackers and played nice music. And then we just sat and we talked. It was a bunch of yoga teachers.
Yes,
A meeting of the minds is what we called it. And I would just love more of that, more opportunities for yoga teachers to get together to talk about the things that are challenging, to talk about the things that are going well in our teaching, and to talk about what we're curious about and what we're studying, and sort of a networking experience for yoga teachers is so necessary, and I think missing. So thanks for
I
bringing us
love that.
here.
I
Yeah.
love that what you are, what you are just kind of, creating as we are speaking, meeting of the minds. I just really love that. And let's just kind of, really expand on that, because you know how it is with this gathering. It doesn't matter if only two people come, because anything that you grow, you just don't grow with from 100 seeds, right? But it's just kind of, that can be a beautiful creation of yours, to create this just kind of, women's circles, or just kind of, circles where people as a yoga teachers can really meet and really just kind of be able to talk about things that are really important, just kind of, to um, the way we really serve in the world. And it's so unique, for me, what is really amazing about yoga teachers generally, and it just shines so much from what you are, just sharing yourself, is that there is just so much of love and compassion and kindness and longing for really serve other
Mhm.
people and raise the consciousness of this planet by showing people really their greatness, you know?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels like such part of the purpose for me is like what I always say between my massage practice and this is that it's peaceful practices for a chaotic world, and that the more people who are practicing a peaceful practice, yoga, or receiving massage, where you get nice and relaxed and you drop into your parasympathetic nervous system, the more peaceful the whole world will be. There's a ripple effect here. If one person experiences one more ounce of peace, that ripples out to countless people in their communities, their family, their work, their home, all of it, right? It's such a all-encompassing. And all that to say, in the beginning, I said self-care isn't selfish, right? If we
It's
were
beautiful.
all taking better care of ourselves,
Yeah.
right? If
So
we all had
if
the
people,
resources
yes,
available.
if people are, watching this, and they would love to just, have a conversation with you, how can people just kind of find out about Alex?
Yeah, you could head to my website, which is flowingwithalex.com, which is also my Instagram handle. And then Middle River Yoga is the name of the yoga studio. So middleriveryoga.com. You could also email at hello@middleriveryoga.com. And we have a Facebook page and an Instagram also, same Middle River Yoga. I think it's Middle River Yoga Maryland or MD.
Great, awesome. So we can, when I post this, you can then put it also in just kind of the comments, maybe those links, so that, and let's continue, in this beautiful conversation. I want to really thank you for taking the time from your just full schedule and just creating this beautiful container of sharing and compassion and service. Thank you so much, Alex.
Thanks, Olga. Can't wait to see what comes next.
Yes, absolutely. Namaste.